Hello and welcome. My name is Justin.
And I'm GreyVillain.
And you have tuned into the GreyVillain podcast. GreyVillain, want to tell me a scary story?
Sure, Justin. One dreary morning, two friends entered a theater prepared to view a movie. Are you scared yet, man?
Yeah, I am. But it sounds kind of familiar.
Yeah, because this was our yesterday morning.
Ah, shit.
Yeah. So, Justin, what did we see yesterday?
Dora the Explorer.
Oh, that is fucking terrifying, actually. Hold on.
No, we didn't see that.
No, we have taste.
No, yeah. I know I got a friend who wants me to see it. No, what we did see was Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Yeah, a book from my childhood that I enjoyed very greatly.
I never read it.
Yeah, because he's uncultured.
I didn't read Goosebumps or any of that stuff when I was a
Doesn't
kid.
read comic books, didn't read Goosebumps, didn't read Scary Stories.
I do have
dark.
a couple comic books, but I didn't really read them. I have like G.I. Joe comic books. I only have a couple.
Yeah, they came with the action figures.
Yeah, that's probably why I had some action figures. I didn't even remember that. So I just got them. I don't know how I ended up with it. So yeah, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Let's not spoil this right off. How did you like it? How being that you have the experience with these stories?
For nostalgia's sake, I did really enjoy it. They did stick pretty closely to all the stories. The issue is, without giving away too much, they have to put an underlying narrative there to make it into a movie so that you can actually sit there and watch it. Mm-hmm. I do definitely feel like this would be better done as a self-contained X-Files style show where you follow along the stories as they're written instead of having to watch them play into each other like we do in the movie. That said, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it.
X-Files or Twilight Zone?
Twilight Zone, not X-Files, so okay. I apologize.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the things that was kind of weird is that each thing happened to a different character throughout, and so you're just picking off your protagonist throughout the movie. You're just like, could take bets on which one was going to survive.
It was, I guess, like I said, it's probably just to give it a concise narrative for you to follow to watch.
Yeah.
Overall, I did enjoy the movie. Designs were great. I'm going to brag on it later, so I'm not going to do too much of that now.
Guillermo del Toro directed the. Let's talk about the designs just a little bit because you did have. They are there in the pictures. There's pictures of them, and they followed it real close.
Yes.
The makeup and stuff was excellent. Yeah. Right. And how much CGI did they use on it? Or how did you pick up on it?
I did very much enjoy the CGI. I think they translated the character designs from a illustrated book to a really well done visual 3D medium. There were a few scenes where I could definitely see it was off, but it was nothing too egregious. There was one scene in particular where I really noticed it, but it quickly changed. It became unnoticeable pretty quickly.
Was it the last one?
No, it was the second to last.
Oh,
the one where it's
okay.
all basically two colors.
Yeah.
You can tell pretty easily in the beginning of it, but as the scene progresses, it becomes less and less obvious, and it looks more and more realistic.
Yeah, I don't know if that's just seeing it more often or what. It just felt like it.
Yeah, it eventually blended. You did notice that too, where it just felt like it started blending back into being realistic. It went from very... Yeah, it's hard to explain without spoiling too much. But yeah, I feel like they tried really hard to use practical effects everywhere they could, and then when they couldn't, they used CG as their cover-up, and it worked pretty well.
Were there more scary stories, or is it just these?
Yes, there was a shit ton more. This book was pretty long, and of course there's 3 books. So there were a lot of scary stories that they didn't use, but they used the main ones that seemed to be some of the most popular ones. Like, I remember those ones, so... Yeah.
This is just one stories out of one book.
Yes, these are all stories out of the first book. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Do you think the setting was fine for this, or should they have updated the setting?
I think the setting was fine, all things considered. I kind of like the setting better. It makes all the stories make a little bit more sense. None of them felt like they were too advanced. The book was written in the early 80s. The first one was released in like 82, I want to say. At that point, there is a story about I think it was a car phone in there. They couldn't have used that in their current setting had they put it out like when the book released. They could have done that. There were a few things in there that like stories they couldn't have used because they're setting, but none of them were that memorable anyways. Overall, I do enjoy the setting. I mean, what did you think about it?
I don't know what to think. I thought it was fine. The setting was a little weird, but it also, that having watched Stranger Things, so many problems would get fixed if Stranger Thing, or if they had like cell phones.
Yeah.
You just call each other up and they're like, oh, hey, what's up?
Or record it on your cell phone for proof, stuff like that.
Yeah, or, text messaging or something. But, so the setting being in 1968 lends to that, where you don't have to worry about too much communication between people, and so you can have them isolated, and that's good.
Yeah.
It's good for heightened tension and fear. And all that.
Definitely. I think a lot of, especially the last few scenes, would have been very easily negated had we had cell phones.
Yeah, because everyone's running around looking for each other, and it's like, I left my shortwave radio back home.
Oh yeah, my pager.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
you can't even use pagers.
Yeah, when it was
oh wow, thanks. I'll call you when I have a chance.
Yeah,
dick. Let me find a payphone. I'll be right back.
Hey, at least you could find a payphone back then.
Yeah, that's true. They had whole banks of them. I thought it was okay. Overall, as a movie, is not really being exposed to stuff. I thought the critters were good. The creatures, they looked good. They were fun. I don't know if you still get all the creep factor if you break it up into different shows or something, but maybe you would have to. It'd be like Tales of the Crypt or something.
Yeah, exactly. It'd become like Tales of the Crypt, where it almost takes itself not seriously enough.
Yeah.
My issue is it feels forced having them all happen back to back this way.
Yeah, because the reaction at the end, it's like they're like, what reaction?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, now we move on, and I continue my search. It's like, okay, you're 12.
Yeah.
Calm down.
It's like, go back to school.
Yeah, you're 12, and I can't say anything past that.
Yeah. So anyway, let's get into spoilers.
Spoiler alert from here on out. You don't get a countdown. Justin, go.
This shit's spoiled now. 1968. Hill Valley, Pennsylvania.
Yep. I'm pretty sure I've driven through there. Be honest.
I have never been there. It's Pennsylvania. I've never been.
Cool. So it's the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania.
And
farm town.
And Halloween.
Halloween, yeah. We open on Halloween,
because spooky. Yeah. Did you think this movie should have opened closer to Halloween? Or, because it's kind of, middle of August?
I mean, I think at that point
getting
they
on
didn't want to...
early Halloweeners or something.
Well, I think there is a movie coming out on Halloween already.
Well, I'm sure there is, but, at least more around that time.
Yeah.
It'll have to come out on Halloween. It's like, everyone has their vampires and
fair enough.
And shit. But, I mean, it just feels, it feels like this one should...
This is a little early, but given that it carries over to, like, a week or so after Halloween, too.
Yeah.
I can see why they weren't too focused on it.
Yeah.
And, again, the main part of this movie is the stories, not so much the narrative, which they did really try to shove the narrative under the rug as much as they could.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had to just barely link everything together.
Yeah, because they wanted it to be concise enough to watch, but they didn't want you to focus on these characters that much. They wanted you to focus more on the stories.
Yeah, so we have a Stranger Things reenactment with bikes and Halloween and shortwave radios and all the cool shit from that. You haven't seen Stranger Things, but I did. And the beginning of season
2.5.
2 or 2.5. Yeah, I can't remember. I think it was 2.5.
That's what you said after the movie.
Yeah. And he's out in Halloweening. And he's got a camera and stuff. They're all out Halloweening together. And then he gets beat up by bullies. And this is the same thing happens here.
I mean, same thing happened in Hocus Pocus.
God, it's... Halloween is a terrible night for anyone to go out and do anything.
I mean, if you really think about it, the same thing happened in The Crow.
Oh. I give you that. That is, yeah.
Yeah.
So just stay home, everybody, and eat your own candy.
Yeah, buy your own candy the day after Halloween, because it's so cheap.
Fucking hate Milky Ways. God damn it, I always get Milky Ways or some shit. And, maybe you really wanted that Snickers bar instead.
Yeah, buy the Snickers bar. Come on,
just
we're
go
adults.
get your own.
We're adults
you don't
now.
have to be disappointed. Yeah. Just, you got money, go do it.
Yeah. And if you don't have money, steal from kids. I mean, that's what they do in this movie.
And so how you do it, it's real simple. You just lean out your window.
And snatch
it as they are just holding it out.
I hated that so much. It's like, act natural. Does a T-pose and holds his bag wide in the middle of the street.
It's like, yeah, come and get it, guys. What was in that bag?
It was a combination of different types of feces, I think. Because then he throws another bag of burning feces in there.
Yeah, that one was... I got the burning feces, but I didn't get what was in the first bag.
Because they say, oh, what's that smell? And they look in it and they freak out. So I assumed it was just more feces.
Okay, yeah, it's just...
They don't really explain that much.
That's like the only thing that really makes sense outside of some leftover food that's going rotten or something.
Yeah.
Maybe it was that. It's like,
or he put all of their apples they got.
Yeah.
Oh, what the fuck is this? Freaks out.
Yeah. And so, we got them. So Stella.
Yes.
Stella is super into horror movies.
Yes.
She's got a lot of posters.
And she's also a writer who likes writing horror stories.
And she has no friends except these two kids.
Who are also awkward as hell.
Who are also awkward. Why does she not have any friends?
They kind of brushed that under the rug by bringing up the fact that her mom left and everybody blamed her. Like, that was the rumor, that was all her fault, that her mom left, so nobody wanted to be friends with her.
Yeah. And
it's a small town, so I can't really put my 2 cents on that, because small town, I didn't grow up in a small town.
No, I don't
know if that's a thing. Yeah, so if that's a thing in your small town, please comment down below so we understand your plight.
Yeah.
But that's apparently how she lost all of her friends.
Sure.
Yeah, I guess. Why not?
Yeah, I guess. And so she's hanging out with her dad. Her dad is played by the dude from S.H.I.E.L.D. Or from the S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show. Way back. You remember that show? He was the head dude. Yeah. Oh, what's his fucking name?
He's trying to figure it out. Oh, you mean Dean Morris?
Dean Norris. Yeah.
Norris.
He played Roy Nichols, Stella's dad.
Yes.
And he's from the S.H.I.E.L.D.
He's from a lot of things. He's a famous actor.
It's true. He is.
I've seen him in a lot of things.
Yeah, he was in The Hustle and Death Wish and Big Bang Theory. He guest starred a couple times. But I thought he was on the S.H.I.E.L.D. Wasn't he on the S.H.I.E.L.D.? Under the Dome, Sons of Liberty, Breaking Bad? Or, no, that's where I remember him from. Breaking Bad, not the S.H.I.E.L.D. I was thinking the other
I don't even know what the S.H.I.E.L.D. is,
it's a cop drama on it was on FX.
That's exactly my demographic.
It was a really good one. Really good cop drama. It was about dirty cops. It was good. Anyway, so we got Stella. She's played by Zoe Margaret Coletti. Then she meets up with Augie Hildebrandt, played by Gabriel Rush, and the other guy who's not even listed on IMDb. What the fuck is this? Or no, wait, Chuck Steinberg, played by Austin Zajur.
Also, Gabriel Rush, you may know him from Shameless, which is one of my favorite shows.
Oh, see, I don't watch that trash.
Yeah, it is a trash show. It's a show about inner city trash, you're right. And he plays my favorite character.
Yeah, I've seen the adverts.
So fucking funny. It's so dumb and funny.
It looks ridiculous.
Oh yeah, it is. And unfortunately, it's not that far off from the truth either.
Yeah. And so she meets up with those two guys, and then they're trick or treating, and they're trying to get their candy stolen.
Yeah, because they want to get a sick prank on the bullies and jocks.
Yeah.
Who keep stealing candy every year.
The cool kids who wear their Letterman jackets.
Yeah, their Letterman jackets literally everywhere.
But they're drunk.
Yeah, apparently.
And they were first out in the fields beating up
Harold.
Old Harold.
Who's a scarecrow.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, when your scarecrow looks like that, it's time to get a new scarecrow. You don't keep that scarecrow. You get a new one.
This is This is farming 101.
Yeah, you don't keep a scarecrow that literally has a hole in its gut the size of my upper torso.
Hey, listen to us. We're from the inner city. We know.
But, like, what's the point of that? And it's not even hoisted up high enough to scare the crows away. It's like, come on, man.
It's
doing it wrong.
Artistic freedom, I think.
Fair enough, but it's still doing it wrong.
Yeah. Let us teach you the ways of farming.
My grandfather owns a farm. I worked on it, man. Come on.
All right.
I have some practical experience. Some.
Mm-hmm.
But yes.
Playing a scarecrow.
Yes, I did that for a few summers. It was great. I used to get paid quarters back in the 50s.
So, yeah, trick-or-treating Letterman jackets, they're drunk, they steal the candy, but...
The candy, and it's something bad, then they get flaming shit thrown into their car, they freak out, crash the car.
Would you rather have rocks or eggs? Just throw out a car.
Given these kids are apparently in, like, junior high, I see eggs as much more feasible. But if I was, like, a high schooler, definitely be throwing rocks at your car if you were doing that shit.
Because that guy really liked his car.
Yeah, I would be throwing rocks at it, especially given what he does later.
Yeah.
I would be throwing rocks at your car.
Exactly. I wouldn't pussyfooting around this shit. I'd be throwing rocks, be like, yeah, fuck you prick. Like,
I guess they're trying not to get in too much trouble. I think that's kind of the thing.
Okay, so you're gonna let them steal your shit, and then they stop their car, and then you're like, I'm gonna throw eggs at you, and then what? If they catch you,
you're fucked. And if they don't catch you, you're still fucked because your parents are gonna know.
So you might
that was
as well
my entire
rocks.
thing. Yeah,
like,
that was my entire thing.
Guys.
Is why don't you just either take it a step further, just not do this, because you're in a small town. They're gonna know it was you.
Yeah, you're not getting away.
Yeah.
And so then they our three kids, they hightail it to the drive-in theater.
Yeah.
Where Ramon, played by Michael Garza, Ramon is chilling at the drive-in by himself,
watching
in his car, watching The Evil Dead,
Day of the Dead. George A. Romero.
Yeah, and so then they all jump into this guy's car, and he's just like, "The fuck."
He's like, "The fuck," till he sees Stella and goes, "Wait a minute!
Wait, there's a chick in my car.
There's a hot chick in my car.
There's an underage chick in my car."
To be fair, we don't know how old he is either. Apparently old enough to get drafted.
He's old enough to get drafted, and she's still in high school.
Assume junior high. Like that's the issue. You don't get a good placement for their ages because Chuck looks like he's 13. Gabriel looks like he's in his young 20s, which in real life he is.
Yeah, he had a growth spurt.
And Stella looks like she could be anywhere from 13 to 22, so...
Yeah. It's
really hard to place where these characters are age-wise, but apparently Ramon's old enough to get drafted into the military.
ID, please.
So just, it's like,
for safety.
Little sketchy,
But he's just like, yeah, cool, I'm gonna get fresh with this chick.
Yeah,
I'm dropped in my car.
I'm gonna start hitting on you while you let your friends in the backseat who are poking around in my shit.
Yeah, and they just kind of get into his shit. And then the racist joke.
Oh, yeah, so Ramon
is... You got a switchblade, bro?
Yeah, do you got a switchblade, man? Because Ramon's sitting there in his leather jacket, in his muscly car.
Yeah.
And they're like, you got a switchblade? And you could just feel the from everybody, because he just turns around and goes, no, I don't. And then later, of course, he does have a switchblade.
Of course he does. Because he's in a gang.
Because he is a pimp named Slickback.
A wetback.
Oh my god! When they did that in the movie, I again cringed really hard.
So, what is their target audience with this movie, by the way?
Yeah, not my generation, and we're the generation. Well, I guess their target audience would be closer to your age.
Oh,
because it came out when.
Well, yeah.
So, like my dad's age, people who were born. People who were born like the 70s. Because the book came out in 81 or 82, so these people were reading it as they grew up. Like my dad, like I said, he was born in 73 and watched, read the books as they came out. Mm-hmm. I still have his copies.
Yeah.
So I guess that's their target audience. In which case, they were. I don't know, even that seems like a bad target audience to try to hit with some of the jokes they make.
Yeah, well, just the general racist stuff that they put in there.
There's so much of it.
Like,
and
was it necessary? I mean, I get it. It was sort of necessary for the
time and the setting.
For the setting. Okay, so Ramon's a draft dodger.
A draft dodger who is also of Mexican descent.
Very Mexican, and 1968, and so everyone's treating him kind of shitty and kind of racist. And then on top of that, he's a draft dodger, so they're going to send him to the draft if they get their hands on him. And so he's like, I can't go to the cops, I can't do anything. And so so after the drive-in theater, the bullies show up, and then everyone says, "Get lost, punks!" And because they're not in a car, and they're annoying people, which and so then they get told to go away, and then Stella turns to Ramon, and she's like, "Hey, you want to go check out this haunted house?
You want to go see a haunted house?"
It's just kind of random. I guess it's Halloween.
It's Halloween. So, he's into scary movies. I mean, they do a chit chat back and forth about the movie.
He was at a scary movie. He's not necessarily into them.
Well, I mean, they did do the nerd. They did the nerd out about the movie.
Oh my god, he's so nerdy.
Oh my god.
And they're just
so it is
instant
forced.
Connection.
It's forced. It's forced to tell. But again, we're not meant to really give a shit about these characters. I feel.
No, they're pretty disposable.
Especially with what's coming up, they're pretty fucking disposable.
And so, anyway, we then go to the haunted house.
We do go to the haunted house.
Augie is a total puss.
Total fucking tool the entire time. I don't want to rip my costume.
You fucking clown.
He's a Pierrot.
Fucking clown.
Fair. So...
so they go into the house and they start wandering around. They don't have like flashlights or anything.
No, they have his lighter.
They have a Zippo.
A single Zippo.
Fuck yeah, we got this.
Which
it's dark out.
Every time they click it, I get nostalgia twinges through my body because I'm like, that's satisfying noise. They legit had to take a Zippo into the Foley booth and just fuck with it for all those sounds.
And so, like, Chuck, he just takes off running and hides.
He jumps out and scares Augie.
Yeah.
And then he runs and Augie chases him.
Can't catch me!
Because Augie's pissed.
Yeah.
And again, Augie is obviously the oldest one of the group except for Ramon. And again, he looks like he's his actor's age, which is young to mid-20s.
Augie's gonna be it when he grows up. And it's universe confirmed.
Pennywise is what you meant to say.
Yeah, whatever. We'll see the movies again.
Oh, it's so good. But yeah, he takes off and Chuck has his first spoopy encounter.
Yeah, he goes and hides in the wardrobe in a bedroom.
And then he opens the wardrobe at some point.
And then the light turns on outside. He sees light through the cracks. And then so he opens the door a little bit, and then he gets a hallucination, essentially.
Yeah, he sees the house like it's new again. And he sees the old woman sitting on her bed with a dog. Grandma
and a big-ass Doberman Pinscher.
Yeah.
I think. And Grandma's blind as a bat, but she has radar, I guess. And so she's just like, I noticed you.
And he gets scared.
Yeah, he pisses his pants, wears his brown pants. And so then... and then Augie comes up and opens the wardrobe, and Chuck's like, "Oh my god, I'm scared!"
Scares the shit out of Chuck.
Yeah, they try to jump scare you with stuff. Nothing's actually really all that scary.
No,
they jump scare.
But then again, the fucking stories in these books weren't all that scary either.
No, it's probably more like freaky. Like,
yeah, it was freaky stuff.
Ooh, I'm gonna get you with the
they weren't really scary. They were freaky. The illustrations were the scary parts of these books because
I guess if you're like 5.
They're done in black and white, rough drawings. I mean, you can look them up. They were pretty terrifying if you're reading them at night with like a light on them in your bedroom. Covers. Yeah, that's legit what I used to do, man.
No, I was scared of the monsters under my bed when I was really little, really, really little.
Okay, so as of 2 years ago is what you mean.
Just a couple years ago. I still, I still sleep with my lights
He
on.
still wears his good nights like a good boy.
Yeah. And so, let's see. But while those two are having their lovers romp, we have the other lovers go downstairs.
Yeah,
they go upstairs, but then they find the
it's in
thing
the
that
kitchen.
moves.
They find that one of the one of the cupboards shifts to one side, and they're like, "Wait a minute!"
They're like, "Look at the obvious tracks are obvious." And
so fucking stupid. When they did that, I did an actual eye roll. I'm like, oh my god, are you serious?
Yeah. They're like, oh, these tracks are... What is this? It's like,
ooh, what's this?
Yeah,
shifts it off to the side.
It's like, you're the only ones to ever find that. And so then they uncover a hidden door that goes
into a deep, dark cellar.
Into the cellar.
With another locked door.
Yeah.
With another locked door.
There's a lot of security.
Because there's 2 locked doors before you get to the hidden door.
It's like Fort Knox down there.
It's fucking stupid. So, of course, this is the moment where he pulls out his switchblade and lock picks a lock.
Oh, God, yes.
I was sitting there just going, no, no. That's not only how you ruin a lock, it's how you ruin a good switchblade.
Yeah. Well, before that, they did lockpick
with the bobby pin on the front door. Like, I'm like, oh, he rips the metal part off the cap of the pen. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. I'm just like, how do you
and of course
learn to do that?
And it's Ramon who does it.
This was before the internet. How did you learn how to do anything?
I don't want to say this because it makes me sound bad, but I assume the connotation is because he's Mexican.
Because goddamn racist.
Because they do it so many times in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a one-bit gag. It comes back throughout the entire movie.
Yeah, it is.
On these characters that you honestly don't give a shit about.
Nope. And so, yeah, I guess stereotypes.
Well, then again, Stella does it too. Because she lockpicks the last lock with the switchblade. She takes it from him.
Well, she's badass.
This is true. She's the horror movie buff, so she
knows everything.
She gets into the room. They get into the hidden cellar room, and realize this is where she was kept because there's a scary story that we haven't told you guys yet about an old family who helped found the town, who had a daughter who never left the basement because she was an albino, and they thought she was insane, but really
she was having fun.
So they locked her down there, and there's more to it that we find out later in the movie.
But the story unfolds.
The story unfolds. The drama.
I'm so excited.
The tension ratchets. They find a book in the basement, and it's this woman's book of scary stories.
Spooky.
So, of course, Stella goes, oh, hell yeah, and takes it.
Yoink. Because
why not? Grave robbing's fine, or robbing off of government property is fine.
Yeah, they should probably tear it down.
They apparently are in building a mall there. They do.
That's right. The Asian malls.
So they then go, okay, we're leaving, and they go to leave, and the jocks somehow knew they were here and locked them in.
The small town, they saw the car outside of like the only house.
Fair enough.
That's my thought. They're like,
that's actually fair.
I noticed the car, and so then
that's that one dude's car.
Yeah.
Let's go beat up his car like we're in Street Fighter.
Yeah. And then actually, it's just the one kid because we didn't see there was 3 at first.
Yeah, and it's him and his girlfriend, Ruth.
And yeah, then his girlfriend shows up.
Who's also Chuck's older sister.
Yeah, which just seems like
forced.
Yeah.
Yeah,
really?
Like all the other parts of this movie, forced.
Yeah.
So.
And so then he locks him into the basement
with Ruth because she questions his authority, and he is an angry alcoholic in training at this point.
Yeah,
and his dad's a cop. Which is the best part of the stereotypes. His dad's the chief.
He should probably go to. He should get that kid should get drafted. He seemed to want to go.
Yeah, I mean, he signed up at the beginning of it.
Oh, that's right.
He walks out of the office at the beginning of the movie.
So it makes sense. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's ready to go. He's the perfect stereotype at that point.
Go kill some commies.
Because then exactly. Word for word, I'm gonna kill me some commies as he walks out of the fucking out of the office.
Oh, yeah.
And him and his buddies are cheering about it. But the losers club, as I'm going to call them from now on, get locked into the cellar.
Yep.
They eventually get let out by the ghost of the woman who used the book. Yeah,
you see the shadow, like the darkness, maybe the gray villain-ish hand Unlock the door.
She's albino, Justin, not gray. That's racist. Could you see the wheels turning in my head while I stared at you?
I was trying some. Yeah, I didn't even see it, Killer. I'm so sorry to all of our albino listeners.
We appreciate you. We support you. Wear that sunscreen.
Be sure to cover up.
So yeah, she unlocks the door for them. They leave, and they brush off the fact they were let out by a ghost.
Yeah, and she's like, "No, the door just opened. How about that?"
Oh yeah, I guess we shoved it just hard enough to open it.
Those automatic doors are crazy.
Yeah, man.
So then they just go, and then they go out and find out the car's vandalized.
The car got its windshield smashed through the baseball bat. All the tires are slashed. Yeah. The spare tire was slashed,
just in case you could get home with only one.
Yeah, they wrote,
"Motherfucker, slashed my spare tire."
And it looks like they did something to the engine too, because the hood's popped. But on the hood and on the back, it says "wetback" on it, and it's. Again, the cringe. I'm like, come on.
We didn't have to introduce that racial stereotype to children.
Yeah, exactly. Because this movie is targeted towards PG-13.
There was children. There was a dad and his child sitting next to me.
Yeah, and then there was oh my god. So we had a group of 5 teenagers show up 30 minutes into the movie, right around this point in the movie. Yeah. One of them was trying to find where the seat was and fucking slapped me.
The fuck?
Yeah, I was sitting there, all of a sudden here, and I'm like, what?
I thought he slapped his friend or something.
No, that was me.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? And she just goes, oh my god, and curls up into a ball next to me on the seat next to me. I'm like, I'm not gonna hit you back. I'm just curious what the fuck you're doing.
Quick, get the Zippo so we can see.
And then they keep talking throughout the movie and zipping their bags to get snacks with the bags. I'm like, shut the fuck up already. Come on.
I fucking hate terrible people. I would just take my cell phone.
They're also drunk as shit. It was the worst.
Shined it in their face.
I could smell the booze. It was the worst. But we get past the scene. Stella goes,
maybe they should be sent to Vietnam.
Suitable punishment.
New Vietnam. Send them to Afghanistan or some shit.
So, Stella goes, hey, I've got a couch at my place you could crash at in the basement.
It's like, hell yeah. It's like, oh, wait, no, you mean a real couch in your real basement? No, fuck that.
He's like, shit. He gets there, he's like, oh.
Now
I'm already here.
Not a metaphor.
Now I'm already here, I guess.
Okay.
So they poke more jokes at the fact that she's a horror writer and that she likes horror movies as they go around the room. Horror. The
horror scary, not.
Yeah. I heard you say horror, and I'm like, did you say what I think you said?
Maybe.
Maybe. But they eventually get her down to the basement, blah, 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 blah. He sleeps in the basement, she sleeps on her bed.
So then we cut to the cornfield, because Drunky gets back home.
Yeah, because, what's his name gets back home? The suburban, or not suburban, the small town white kid with the cop dad.
Was that Tommy? Tommy.
Yeah, it was
Austin
Tom
Abrams.
Who looks truly like a douchebag from a small town, not gonna lie. Even his IMDb photo makes him look like a douchebag from a small town.
Yeah, well, he doesn't have his buddies with him to hand him baseball bats anymore.
Yeah,
that was the only thing they were good for.
He shows up home late, drunk.
Bat. Go beat up the scarecrow.
Yeah, they do nothing else. They actually disappear for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, they do. They don't show up. They don't mourn. They don't nothing. Hey, where's my friend?
Yeah, where's my gang leader? But
we're lost.
We're lost without our alpha.
Left.
Without our alpha, we are lost.
Without Tommy.
So he gets home, he gets yelled at by his mom because he was drunk and he forgot to take eggs to the neighbor. So what does this motherfucker do? He grabs the eggs and walks through the middle of his cornfield in the middle of the night.
Where are you going, dude? Like, wasn't that right over... You're going the wrong way. I don't even know where you live or how this is laid out, but I know you're not going the right direction.
As they were setting up this scene, I'm like, they're going to make him walk through the cornfield. They're absolutely going to make him walk through the cornfield. And then they do, I'm like, God damn it.
And then he gets lost in the cornfield. It's like, look for the lights of the house, dude.
Well, it's not that he gets lost. He looks at Harold, and he passes him.
Yeah.
And then walking straight, he walks back into Harold.
He's like,
And he's like,
dude, I am like really drunk.
There's no way. So he keeps walking, and he walks
so drunk.
Then he notices Harold again, and this time Harold's standing on his own, and he's like, and starts running and walking the other way.
I'm really drunk.
It's a Michael Myers-esque chase scene where you never really watch the villain move, but he keeps teleporting in front of him.
He walks real fast.
Yeah, and eventually it winds up into a really tense scene of him running down a cornrow and tripping over a rake. Which
then, does he get up and stab him?
Or it wasn't a rake. It was a
hay bale.
Pitchfork.
Pitchfork, yeah.
And he grabs...
Hits him with the whole hay bale.
Hits him with a hay bale. He grabs the pitchfork and stabs Harold with the pitchfork. And
with the pointy end.
With the pointy end, mind you. But he stabs into the midsection that's missing a giant gap in it.
Harold is looking rather trim.
Yeah. Trim is in the middle of him does not exist.
Yeah.
And Harold
diet
just...
looking good.
the straw diet, yeah. Mm-hmm. Horses love it. So Harold then just kind of looks at him and takes the pitchfork and then impales Tommy.
Yeah.
A very, very Michael Myers / Jason Voorhees style death.
Right, through the back, right under the breasts. Or breast
right
area.
Under the rib cage.
Top of the rib cage, chest area. Right through the heart.
He stabs him and pulls it back, and Tommy
and then he just keeps running.
Yeah,
it's like, dude, you got 4 holes in your back. How are you doing that, man? But
yeah, I mean,
he's fine.
He's fine. I mean, he's joined the military. He must be a badass. But as he's running,
got that super soldier serum. He's working out real well. Baby.
Yeah, around that time they were doing that. But then you start seeing pieces of hay come out of his wounds and his ears and his mouth. Like he pukes up hay.
He's not feeling good.
And he just starts suffocating on hay and dying. And the sound design in this scene, really, really good. Mm-hmm. Made me cringe quite a bit because you can, like, when he's pulling it out of his ears, it sounds really gritty. Mm-hmm. And he eventually falls over dead. And then we skip to the next school day where Tommy isn't at school. And nobody knows why yet.
Even, like, I guess Mom doesn't care.
Well, no, she does. She does find him because the cops are there by the the kids get out of school.
But he looks like Harold.
Yeah.
It's just Harold.
They can't find him.
It's like
they think he's a missing persons. I think because there was no body to find.
Yeah. Which do you think Harold should have taken his clothes, or do you think he should have turned into Harold? I know it's probably the story
turned into Harold. I'm pretty sure that's what happened in the story.
But what happened to the old Harold?
Harold disappeared. Just like all the other things do in this movie. When they're done, they disappeared.
I guess.
So he is now the Scarecrow, we find out a little bit later.
Yeah.
But throughout the school day, nobody knows where Tommy is. You hear a few background characters go, "Hey, where's Tommy?
Where's Tommy?"
Nobody knows, nobody cares, really, because he's kind of an asshole. Find out later that when she opens the book, she sees a new story in it that wasn't there the night before, and she rubs her finger across it and realizes that it's still freshly written.
Yeah, that'd be kind of freaky.
That would freak me. I would burn the book right then and there, because if I touched a book, there was a new story in it, and it was still freshly written, fuck that, I'm done. I'm leaving, I'm moving to a new town.
So she's at school, but then she takes off and goes to the cornfield.
Because she notices...
in the middle of the school day.
Yeah.
And she hooks up with Ramon.
Who can't be seen there because the cops are there, but she convinces him to come with her anyways.
And then we sort of check it out. We go out and look at the
We did skip a part. He goes to the mechanics. And there's a comment about Tommy missing when he's at the mechanics. The cop thinks it was him.
So the cop is Tommy's dad? Is that what we said, or no?
I'm pretty sure that is the chief.
Chief Turner?
Yeah.
Gil Bellows. I don't think they make any connection between...
They do say, he says... at what point was it? I think it was in the drive-thru. They go, "Hey, Tommy, don't make us call the chief."
Well, that doesn't necessarily mean it's his dad.
But that's true, but
Tommy way that Tommy just be a bad apple that's had a couple run-ins with the law.
I was assuming, but I feel like with how he freaked out, that would be like somebody important to him. It would also fit into the stereotype pretty well.
What are they going to do? Send me to Vietnam?
Yeah.
Shit, dude. I already signed up, biatch.
But
give me the flamethrowers.
They make the comment that, oh yeah, you're a drifter and you're also a Mexican and you are passing through and had a run-in with Tommy, apparently. Everybody saw you at the drive-thru.
So you must be connected to Tommy's.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we don't need the overly racist undertones in this movie that kids are going to be watching.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
So
then
aside from teaching our kids new slurs.
Yeah. So well done. Well played.
Well played.
Movie. Thanks, Hollywood.
Also, I don't think Guillermo del Toro actually directed. I think he was
I think he produced.
Yeah, I think he's the executive producer and.
Yes. Screenplay for Andre Ovredal,
who I've never heard of.
Yeah, I don't know either. Sure, man.
But he was one of the producers or one of the writers, I think Guillermo del Toro was.
Oh yeah, he was executive producer. Troll Hunter, Autopsy Jane Doe.
Oh, so a bunch of bad movies.
Awesome. Sounds.
Yeah, these are all a bunch of bad movies that I remember hearing horrible stuff about.
Well, it's a good thing Andre Ovredal did this one, I guess.
I mean, to be fair, this movie wasn't bad, but he had good source material to start with, so you can't really fuck it up too much.
True.
You can't fuck up a book about creepy stories too much if you're doing an adaptation.
Challenge accepted.
Okay, Yui Bowl.
See, I don't even...
takes Mario Bros. And fucks up with the movie with Bowser looking like a skinhead. Oh my god.
It was interpretive.
Yeah, very.
So we get our characters. Yeah. So they go to the mechanics and they have our racist bullshit.
Yeah, and then later on in that day they go to the they go to the field and notice that, oh yeah, the cops are here, Tommy's missing. And
so then they go back to the house.
No, they run through the field and find the scarecrow.
Yeah, they go there.
That's where Tommy's stuff.
And then after that, they go back to the house. She goes back to school or something.
Because... Oh, no, she calls up the Losers Club and has them meet her at the drive-thru so that they can decide what they're doing about the book.
Yeah, on their cell phones.
Wait a minute. No, because that happens after the next scene. What do they do after this? She puts the book
back before she burns it.
Oh, yeah, because when he follows her back home and hangs out there, the book is back. When Ramon goes back home with her.
Yeah, so she then goes back to the house.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
Back. And so she's, like, teleporting all over town all of a sudden.
Again, it's a small town. And she rides her bike everywhere.
Okay.
I don't know.
Work those leg muscles, man. Work those legs.
I mean, I ride my bike to work. I can see it.
And so she, the sister got a spider bite when she got thrown into the basement. Spider bite on her cheek.
Yes.
And she's like, "It's a spider bite, you butt pimple." I wrote
Please tell me you have that written down.
I wrote it down. I thought it was great.
That's brilliant.
I was going to use it in the opening, but
we couldn't find a way to do that.
So I'll just use it there.
Without insulting me directly, we could not find a way to do that.
You butt pimple. And then, you don't read the book. The book reads you.
Oh my god. You don't listen to the podcast listens to you. That's the joke I made. Oh, that was the one we were looking for. Oh my god.
Oh man, so yeah, they're like seeing what's happening, and she's our protagonist Stella figures out what's happening because she's like, oh my god, the story happened. The story wasn't there. Then it comes in, and then I see what happens, and now there's a new one, and she puts the book back, but then she can't. Then the book just shows up back in her bedroom, and so then Ramon comes and she like walks into her bedroom because Ramon is already in there somehow, and he's reading the book, and he's like, "Oh, this book, yeah." And she's like, "How did that get here?" And he's like, "It was right there on the desk. I don't know what the fuck." And then she's like, "Oh my god, I put it back."
And then the next stories just get written while it's in her hands.
Yeah, and that'd be freaking the fuck out of everybody. And it's called The Big Joe.
Yeah, the story was just as dumb in the book as it is in the movie.
And so Augie is home alone because he's a responsible young man.
I was left home alone since age 8. So.
Yeah, I got home.
So, like, I can see it happening. That didn't strike me as very odd, especially in a small town.
I got myself off to kindergarten in the mornings because the school was like a block away, and I just walked to school.
I used to come home and make dinner for the family. I mean, that for some people is common.
I'm a single parent family, so I was like, mom's working. I gotta get my shit done.
Yeah, I get my homework done. I make food. I do some of the chores around the house.
Yep.
So when she comes home, we're all copious and cool.
Augie, fucking clown.
I wish you guys could see the look on Justin's face when he said that. So determined.
Yeah,
you fucking clown.
Said it with
gusto.
Yes,
a nice grizzled gusto behind him. But
very responsible young man.
Yes, and he's on the phone with his mom trying to figure out what's going on about dinner because she apparently didn't say goodbye before she left with her boyfriend.
Just peaced out.
Yeah,
terrible, mom. That's terrible because broken family, and now you're into boyfriend more than you're into helping your own son. Not cool.
Not cool, man. Not cool.
Not cool, lady.
To be fair, we don't have a lot of insight into what happened, so...
No, but apparently someone made some stew that no one remembers making, and he's just like, yeah, sure, I'm gonna eat
in a pot that,
stew.
Like, okay, so if you see a mysterious pot of something appear in your fridge, like, I would imagine that it wasn't in a pot that he knew he owned, because I know what pots I own.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that if you just saw a random pot in your fridge one day, you wouldn't freak the fuck out and just leave it?
I would be concerned about what I'd find in that.
Yeah, I would probably just take it straight out to a dumpster and dump it, and leave the entire pot and not fuck with it ever again.
It's like, this is a communal fridge? What happened?
Yeah, you're looking at your double-locked door. What the fuck?
It's my apartment, but someone just leaving shit in here. Okay, well, stealing your food.
No. But, gotta admit, I don't know about living in the closet.
Yeah, no one lives in there. It's a little small.
So he,
I'm renting a closet.
Yeah, if you guys want a closet in San Francisco, it costs you $1,300 a month.
I don't live in San Francisco.
No, but that is actually a thing.
Yeah.
I'd like to say that's an actual listing on one of the sites.
That's insane.
Almost it's a closet that's a room.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That said,
Sounds legit.
As a kid, the master bedroom walk-in closet, when we had to rent a room so we could afford where we were living, I actually fit my bed and a dresser into a master closet, like a walk-in master bedroom closet, and that was my bedroom for like 2 months.
I'm sorry, Sarah Bellows.
I actually enjoyed it a lot. It was really cool.
Oh yeah, Sarah Bellows enjoyed it too.
Yeah, she was there forcefully. I liked it though. It was dark. It was nice. I slept well. It was quiet. Come on, man. But
however you want to describe punishment, that's fine.
Oh damn! Well, okay. For her, it was punishment. For me, it was joyous childhood memories.
That's why I got fucked up. I get it.
Yeah, it was that and the electric shock therapy.
Different strokes.
Different strokes, folks. We get to...
So, eat the stew in the fridge.
Yeah, he starts eating it while they're yelling at him over the radio to not fucking eat it.
And it was just in the fridge. It's probably cold. And the, grease is up
the grease settles on top.
And it's probably disgusting. Warm it up, dude.
Yeah, and
At least put it on the oven.
I've been desperate and broke before, but no, I would not eat cold fucking stew. I'm sorry, I have standards.
No. Yeah, come on, man. Like, I thought you were responsible, supposed to be able to take care of yourself.
Yeah,
you can't even turn on the oven.
Pour yourself a pot of it or something.
Do that. I can't touch the oven. Mom,
come on, man. Or put it in a bowl and put it in your microwave. It's in 1968. Those were popular by now.
Yeah, why don't you just grab the milk carton and start drinking out of that, too? Fine, whatever.
I'm pretty sure we do see him do that, too.
Do we?
I'm pretty sure he does something like that. Somebody does something like that. It has to. It has to happen. It's in every movie.
No, not in this one.
Are you sure?
I think they cut it. It's probably a cutscene.
Probably a cutscene. You'll probably see it in the Blu-ray version.
But it takes its first bite. It's like, oh, it's pretty good.
Yes, it's pretty tasty.
And they're on the two-way radio, on the little shortwave radio.
Don't do it! Don't eat the stew. There's a toe in the stew.
Whatever. And
as they're saying that, you watch the toe rise to the top of the stew, and I look at that, and it just.
It won't happen without heat convection. Just saying. It's cold, it's settled, it's not just going to rise to the top.
Yeah,
you have to put it on the heat.
Okay, we're talking about that, not the fact that a toe is in this man's stew, and he puts it in his fucking mouth.
I'm curious what Top Chef would say.
Gordon Ramsay would be fucking disgusted. But He puts this toe in his mouth and then realizes there's something wrong here.
I can't chew this.
And
it's
pulls
gigantic.
it out. And as he's pulling it out, he's sucking on it.
Yeah.
Like,
gotta get the juice.
I'm like, this guy realizes it's a toe.
Starts tonguing it.
Okay, no, he does not start tonguing the toe. He's not your weird fantasy.
Yeah, actually, that. Oh, what about Tarantino? What?
Oh my god, the foot fetishes. Oh, Tarantino foot fetish is hilarious.
Just you might want to look at the people that are reviewing this movie if they really like it. Might be because they have a little thing going on.
Yeah, a little bit, especially about disembodied rotten toes.
Yeah.
So he spits it out, throws it on the ground, throws the pot too, and you notice there's more body parts in the pot.
Just a couple eyeballs.
Yeah, there's an eyeball, a few other things that I don't really remember, to be honest.
She's like, then they say, who has my toe?
And on cue, the ghostly voice goes, who has my toe?
I'm like, ugh.
And Augie's like, shit, and runs. Instead of leaving the house, he runs to a bedroom.
She can't even run fast. She has no toes.
Yeah, so she
that
limps.
really affects her balance.
He runs to a bedroom, barricades himself in.
Augie, that's your bright.
Actually, he doesn't even barricade himself. He shuts the door.
shuts the door. He's like, oh god, that's going to stop her.
And then looks
she
at his
can't
window.
Turn the knob.
And doesn't even really try to open his window.
You don't know how the window functions.
Yeah.
Put this freaking lock on here.
Yeah, it's like at this point, I kind of hated this one scene.
Augie.
And then you get a suspense moment where they drop all the audio, and it's of course they're leading up to a jump scare while he's under the bed and he's looking around. He doesn't
got
find
enough
it.
clearance under his bed to get under there. I have never had enough clearance under my bed to get under
No, not when I was like 5, maybe. But no, never that much clearance.
And I was small. I could never fit under my bed.
He slides under there no problem for some reason. And then
good clearance.
He's pulling himself out. He's about to get out. Jump scare pulls him back in.
Well, no, the door opens creepily. But we don't see any feet. We don't. I mean, which would be like a good time for a Tarantino foot fetish thing
with a missing toe.
With a missing toe. And then I wonder if his next movie's going to have a chick with a missing toe.
Tarantino?
Probably. Because he's had like all the things. Now he's got dirty feet, and he's going to have like mangled feet, and all sorts of
That's when you
mannequin feet.
That's when you learn that Tarantino's into necrophilia.
and then, but we don't see any feet, and so then Augie looks left, and he looks right, and he looks back straight, and then he looks left, or like, the fuck, what happened? And now she's learning how to fly.
Slowly,
maybe she walks on the ceiling or something.
Slowly pulls himself out
from underneath. It's like,
over
dude,
the
just
bed.
Stay there. What are you even doing? I mean, I guess you did put yourself into a corner. Eventually, you're going to have to come out. But, like, not right now.
Yeah. Wait until daylight, man.
Yeah.
But he pulls himself out and looks over the bed. And, of course, this is a drawn-out suspense for a jump scare. Nothing happens when he looks over the bed. But then as he goes to pull himself out further, something grabs his ankle, starts yanking him back.
And then scraping nails on the wood floor.
Yeah, he digs his nails into the wood floor and leaves marks. Ow.
I'd really like to see the blood and the nails left there if you're going to do something like that. Because it's not even possible. I mean, that hurts so
To be fair, you know what else isn't possible? She drags him for like 30 feet past where the wall is.
Oh, well, I mean...
You watch the bed slowly get farther and farther away as he's dragged in the darkness. I'm just saying.
Okay. Sure.
So, of course, at this point,
I just want more reality in this movie.
I want more realism in my scary stories.
God, you guys are really, really testing the limits here.
And then, during all of this, Stella and Ramon are running towards this dude's house because they
their
know
bikes somewhere, and the car. I guess.
Well, the car's in the shop,
but I guess she doesn't have a 2-person bike. Maybe.
So they just start running.
Tandem bike.
They get there late, like after the deed is done, and start looking around the house. Can't find them, and they pull the bed out from the wall because they think it's the last place he could be.
Should have run faster.
And they see the claw marks in the wooden floor.
Augie, no.
And she has her no moment, and then we skip to later. I think it's tomorrow.
Next day. So then they're at the drive-in.
Yeah, it's the next day at the drive-in.
They're like,
They have Chuck and his sister show up.
And they try to light the book on fire, but they can't. In the tube, not the tube, the freaking metal container barrel thing. They try to
trash can,
whatever. And they try and light it on fire, and it doesn't. They tip it over, and it comes out.
Yeah, after the fire is done burning, it comes out looking friggity fresh, and
then that's where the iconic line of "You don't read the book reads you" comes from. And it's just.
And me and Justin actually started laughing in the middle of the movie theater.
It's amazing.
Everybody else is pretty much silent, and me and him just start laughing.
It's super heavy scene. Like, oh god. So then the story happens. You don't read the book. The book reads you.
This is why I don't read.
Yeah. The kids,
Chuck, who's the idiot friend, goes, this is why I don't read books.
Good on you, kid.
Good on you. This is why you're going to Nam next.
Yeah. That kid, he was my favorite.
Shame. Damn shame. Damn shame about that.
So then they go and try and figure out what's up with this book, and so they go to the library.
Yeah. Is that next? Because then we have
We go to the library where they find that she hung herself and that she was admitted to the hospital, the crazy hospital, which there's always one in these small towns.
Yeah.
You got a lot of crazy people hanging around.
Yeah.
And we learn about the Bellows family. And
about their housekeepers.
About the housekeepers, and that they founded the town, and that they ran a mill.
Yes.
And that then they just started disappearing, one after the other.
And I look in the book and realize that the first stories that were written in the book have the family's names in them.
Yeah. And so, they made the connection that, these stories are about the family members for the previous stories that we never saw, but these new ones
are about us.
Sarah Bell is just being a biatch.
And then we cut to the school, I think, because we have to do the play.
We do the red spot.
Yes.
And Chuck got a red spot because he spilled something.
He dropped a fry with ketchup on it.
And then so he looks at his shirt and he's like, "Oh my god, I got a red spot!"
No! And then they realize, wait a minute.
No, it's not him.
It's not him. It says Ruth. So they run to the school on their bikes.
She's got the spider bite on her cheek, and
it's been growing bigger and bigger.
It grows exponentially bigger
as the scene progresses. Yes.
Every shot we look back at it, it's just bigger and bigger. It's like, holy shit, you gotta lance that thing. That's a boil.
Yeah, the entire time I was looking at it, I was like, just get a knife. Come on.
She's just like, I can't do it.
She touches it. She's trying to push it to pop it. I'm like, no, you need a knife now. You need Crocodile Dundee to hand you a knife.
All right, come here, nice.
You think that's a knife? This is a knife. It stabs her with a bone knife.
Right in the face. And, spiders, man. It starts growing, and then a spider leg
pops out, and she thinks it's a hair, so she
it looked like a hair.
Pokes at it, and then tries pulling it, and it curls up, and she freaks out.
I would too.
And then she starts freaking out some more, and then finally it pops, and all the spiders start coming out. She's freaking the fuck out, and scrambling all over the place, smacking herself in the face, trying to get them off her. At this point,
I hate spiders, man.
Agreed. At this point, Chuck, Ramon both run into the bathroom with Stella and start trying to get them off her, fanning her off with jackets, and eventually they get water and throw it on her and get it all off her.
Spiders don't like water. Spiders cannot cross water.
These are hallowed grounds, bitch. My sister's hallowed ground, bitch. Throws the water at it.
So she survives.
She survives her deal because they were able to intercept in time.
And except then they're like, no, she's crazy now and has to go to the crazy house, because even though she survived and she clearly had spiders coming out of her face,
no, they just took her to the hospital.
Well, they say later on, she's like, no, they're like, oh no, we saved her, and the cop was like, no, she's crazy now or something. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I don't remember that. I just remember her getting wheeled out and going to the hospital.
Well, they send her to the hospital,
but I assume probably does go to the psych ward after that because she's fucking nuts.
Because she had spiders.
Because she had the spiders, and then probably started talking about the book.
or something. Yeah,
And it's
they're
like, oh, the
no,
book
you're
did
just
it. The
crazy."
book did it.
It's like, I had spiders coming out my face, you asshole. What
Yeah,
the
fuck
fuck
you. But she survives her ordeal, but we don't see her for the rest of the movie until the very end.
Yeah. But we find out about Lulu Baptiste.
Yes, Lulu Baptiste,
And
was the daughter of the housemaid.
Yeah, and Chuck is having nightmares. It's just kind of random.
Yeah, I don't like how they bring this up. They should have not said a thing and had him say it later on, like when it's happening.
Yeah.
He's like, "Fuck, this is just like the nightmare I was having."
Because they go see Lulu Baptiste, this older black lady who is blind.
Yeah.
And she has her daughter is her caretaker. And she was Lulu Baptiste was the daughter of the housekeeper, as I said, from the Bellows house. And she helped, she was friends, kind of? Not really friends.
She had helped out Sarah Bellows a few times during her stay. Well, I'd assume friends because she does have the same music box.
Yeah, so, I mean, they seem to be of an age together. The young girl would be more accepting of her and clearly see the plight that's happening.
Not only that, but she was a young... Again, with the racial undertones of this movie, she was a young black girl in the late 1800s. Very, very racist undertones go along with that.
Yeah.
So you'd assume the two people being dissimilar and getting basically treated the same for being abnormal in the eyes of her, the family that she was working for, her mom was working for. They must have had a type of kinship about that.
Yeah.
Because you do find out that they both have the same exact music box with both their initials put on them.
Yeah. And so very touching, I guess.
It's kind of touching, and then you realize...
It's just sort of thrown in there, though. You don't really get the emotional impact.
No, and again, I honestly don't think we're supposed to give a shit about these characters. I think they're literally just there to string along the story that they wanted to show off.
Yeah.
They go through, deal with her. She says a bunch of creepy stuff, and then they play the music box, and they figure out that the song is "As the Hearse Goes By."
She wants to kill everyone, or she's like super upset.
The "As the Hearse Goes By" song is about death. It's about when you watch a hearse go by, if the driver looks at you, you're the one who's next. I think the song is literally called "As the Hearse Goes By."
Let's see.
It's not how you spell hearse.
I don't care.
But yeah.
Google knows.
"As the Hearse Goes By."
Is there lyrics?
Yeah, you can probably pull it up.
Just go lyrics. I want to play the actual video.
No, please don't.
There's a song, lyrics, MIDI, Boy Scout track.
Don't laugh when the hearse goes by, because you might be the next to die.
Yeah. Okay.
It's an old nursery rhyme song.
Yeah, that's not one that put me to sleep.
It's like Ring Around the Rosies or A Pocket Full of those really dark songs that have bad meanings, like Ring Around the Rosies about the plague.
Yeah, but you didn't know at all. That one's not so obvious.
This is true. A lot of them aren't as obvious. This one's very obvious, but it's a
they
song.
They put you in a wooden box and cover you over with earth and rocks. Like, oh yeah, that sounds like just hide and
I guess the time. 18th century or 19th century, so that's the time. But yeah, she does mention that was her favorite song. That was Sarah Bellows' favorite song, and that is the song that you heard in the music box previously, and now.
Why are you fucking weird?
Yeah. And the woman goes into a dementia state, and her daughter escorts the kids out forcefully.
Yeah. And so then we go to the hospital.
Yeah, they do find out. They get the piece of information about the hospital from her, about how she died in the hospital, not in the home.
Hung herself with her own hair was the rumor.
Yeah. And so they go to the hospital to find the records.
Oh, it's not done with magic. Just rage.
Just rage.
And, yeah.
They go to the hospital and have to... It's going to take 3 to 6 weeks to process this paperwork. So
even back in the day, fucking bureaucracy.
So what do they do instead? They just sneak past everybody and go into the hospital.
Well, you can't just get people's records. That is
that's
illegal.
Against HIPAA. But I know there's a legal cutoff date for that type of stuff, though.
No, yeah, probably.
Because after a certain time, it becomes research records, I think they're called. There's the same thing with certain judicial cases.
Yeah. So I guess it makes sense that they were able to just be like,
yeah, because it was 120 years ago.
Yeah.
So they're like, yeah, it's not like a recent patient. This is She is dead. Her entire family is probably dead too. Let us see the records. They go, okay, yeah, you'll get the forms in 6 weeks. So they go, fuck that. They sneak into a hospital.
Terrible.
Chuck had brought up earlier that in his dream it was about a red room, and they realize that the room they need to go to is called the Red Room.
It's not what it means, Chuck.
No, it means.
And so he split the party. And if we know from Dungeons and Dragons, you never split
the party.
Never.
So they split the party. Chuck stays and then gets into a chase because he doesn't stay put. He instead runs past a bunch of orderlies like an idiot.
Yeah, he's just wandering around. He's like, I'm fine. I know where I'm going.
While they're reading over the records and they listen to a wax cylinder audio recording of Sarah Bellows and her brother.
This is before the LP, man.
Before LPs.
Yeah.
That line.
Just like, I don't even know what a wax... I think it was for the people that didn't know what wax cylinders were, and I wasn't really sure. And
I wasn't entirely sure at first, and then once they're like, it was before the LP, I was like, oh yeah, that thing.
Oh, god damn. What that? Yeah, that's right. It's 1968. Fuck. I forgot.
Yeah. So they listened to the wax recording of Sarah Bellows and her brother. I'd like to point out, though, those recordings did not sound anywhere near that clear. Even old old records, like the original first set of records to ever be made, even their audio quality is super shitty.
Yeah. And so we find out that they have been keeping her in isolation, and
because Sarah Bellows knows what's actually going on. The kids are dying of mercury poisoning from the plant, which was a thing that used to happen.
Yeah, from the factory. It was
so.
Thank you, EPA.
Yes.
Actually, they were trashing on Richard Nixon.
Yeah, Tricky Dick.
Tricky Dick ain't no name for a president.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say.
But so
the funny thing is though, Nixon is the one who came up with the EPA.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't actually know that.
Yeah. There's your fun fact for the day. Republican Richard Nixon came up with the EPA. He did a lot of actually good policies. He was just
he was also a shitty person
and a liar. Yeah.
A really shitty person. But yeah, he instilled some good shit too.
He wanted to win at all costs, but he did actually some good things.
We get to the scene where they're looking over all the records in the Red Room, figuring stuff out, and Chuck's running from the orderlies, and he hits a hallway where he starts seeing the ghost from his dream, the old woman with the sagging skin.
Yeah. And
this is the one part where the CG breaks for me, is during the first shot that you see her, it's a super close-up of her hands, and she's running her hands up her body. And for some reason...
I said bloated corpse.
That's probably what it was, the bloated woman or whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't the old lady, it was the bloated corpse.
Okay.
With the funky face.
And she's pulling, like, her hands across her skin.
Oh, the hallway, everything goes
red.
Yeah,
everything goes red because they turned the alarm on.
It was fine forever, you weren't red, and then all of a sudden Red Room, and I'm like, it's a Black Widow movie.
It's that place on the dark web where you watch people get murdered for fun.
And so then it's like, oh, now you've done it, Chuck. You just ran yourself into all your own problems there.
And then he notices her, and again, the CG breaks for like the first part of this scene. The CG is really spotty, and I can't tell if it's because they tried too hard to make it look good with the red, or if it was just a situation of they had to rush through that last part of that scene. Mm-hmm. But as soon as you get past the first scene of her, it actually looks good. Throughout the rest of her scenes as being CG on some parts and being practical effects on others, it looks really good.
Yeah, so he's like looking down each hallway. He gets a bunch of different views of, same.
Yeah, he looks down. Every time he looks for a new escape route, she's standing there.
Yeah. And
slowly encroaching on him.
Yeah, I was like, just run away. You're a young man. You can run away from the bloated... Oh,
she's everywhere. Oh. And he's terrified. He's like...
Man, she's cheating.
Yeah, he's terrified and like running back and forth between the different rooms, and eventually he just gets cornered between four of them.
You can't do like, a couple head bobs or something get around her.
Break her ankles on your way around.
Yeah, I think you could do it. Come on, kid. She does not look like she has good lateral range.
Probably not.
Not, short reach. You could probably get her.
Something I want to say in favor of this movie's CG. Her face, or CG and regular effects, practical. The face looked really good.
Yeah, it did.
It looked really fucking good. I mean, if you pull up a picture of it from the original book, it looks so good.
This and there's the Hellboy monsters, and these monsters kind of I mean, they're a lot of practical effects in each one done by Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a reason.
I know, and I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of the same feel in each one, the textures and stuff.
Same with Pan's Labyrinth. You get the same type of. You can almost feel the texture on the effects, and even like he tries really hard not to use VFX. Mm-hmm. But for a lot of the movie, they did have to touch up, mainly because he unfortunately cannot work on the timeline he wants to, because he's a perfectionist. He gets all of his shit done perfectly, and that's why it looks so good. But for some parts, I have to rush it.
Yeah.
For this, the only parts that you CG on, for the most part, the CG looked good too. The close-ups on a lot of stuff is practical close-ups. This one especially, you could tell there was somebody in a bodysuit for the latter part of it.
Yeah. Which
was really nice. But she traps him and then absorbs him.
Just right into the gut. Doesn't eat him. Like,
pulls him into her guts after hugging him.
Come give Grandma a hug.
And when he disappears, he leaves his pen behind. The same pen that earlier Ramon steals the metal clip off of. Yeah.
And so that's how and then you get Stella and Ramon come running up, because they were like, "Oh my God, we have to find him now!" And so then they come running up, and just a little too late again.
Yeah, they find the pen, and she breaks down in the middle of the hallway, and the nurses and the orderlies come up and goes, "Where's your little friend?" And it's like, "Aw, you bitch."
That was really rude.
That's a jab.
I don't know what happened to him. I'm just like, wouldn't you be interested in him too? Because, like, what happened to him? Yeah, you're right.
I would like to know what happened to him. It's your job to find him. He broke in here.
Yeah, where is he? What did you do with him?
So, her and Ramon get arrested, taken to jail.
Yep.
She's allowed to go, but she won't leave him there alone.
Because
they know she doesn't want him getting tortured, I guess? I don't fucking know.
Yeah, she's a witness or something. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't fucking know. With the racist undertones of this movie being so high, I can only assume.
And so the cop goes and he starts reading.
He reads the book.
The book.
And he notices the new story being written in front of him. Or no, it's already written. He runs his hand across it and it's still wet.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what this one's called. I don't actually remember this one from the original book.
Meaty Dotty Walker. The Jangling Man.
The Jangling Man. His entrance is probably the best out of all of them.
So they're in they're in individual cells, Stella and Ramon. And
they're holding hands through the bars.
Because it's so cute.
It's adorable.
Yeah. And they and then let's see, what do they hear? The dog starts barking.
Yeah, the dog starts going nuts and barking.
At the chimney.
Yes.
In the police station. I guess you gotta keep it warm somehow.
Yeah, there's no central heating yet.
You would think they would have like a stove or something. Not like a cooking stove, but like a
wood fire burning stove.
Yeah, instead they have a literal fireplace.
Yeah, I've seen weirder shit.
Okay. And so the dog is growling at the fireplace, and the cop comes walking in because he said, "I was reading this new story. These are interesting stories."
Yeah, what the fuck are you writing?
Yeah,
he was a little disturbed.
He thought Stella was writing the stories, and Stella's like, "I ain't writing those stories. That's a witch or something."
Tell us what the stories are. Tell us what the story is. Tell us what it is. And he's freaking out, and he's ignoring her.
He doesn't give two shits.
No, he doesn't give a single fuck. He notices his dog's acting weird.
Yeah, he's like, hey, what's wrong with Puppy?
No, what's wrong with Trigger?
Trigger! Hey, Trigger!
I'd like to point out his dog is named Trigger.
Trigger!
Which is...
That's a good dog name.
Poignant.
Hunting dog. Peace dog. And so he's like...
and the dog's barking and yapping at the fireplace, and then...
The head.
Yeah.
The head just rolls out.
And it looks up at him and...
Starts
laughing. And the effects on the head looked really good for what you could see. The scene's a little dark.
It's very dark.
But I did like what you could see out of it. And again,
Yeah.
I think they had to keep it dark because they knew they weren't going to be able to use practical effects for this one.
Yeah, they always do it to sort of hide some of the CGI mistakes. You don't have to go quite so good with CGI.
Plus,
so, I mean, that's why we're just a GreyVillain. We lack the budget.
And given the fact
Good
that
CGI.
it is Guillermo del Toro who's heading most of the design for these characters, I could totally see him going, if I can't do a practical effect on this, we need to do CG, but we need to make sure that the CG looks decent. Do what you have to do. And the CG team went, let's make it dark.
Yeah, sure. And
so they made it dark as shit.
But the cop did the smart thing.
And shot the fucking thing in the head like 10 times.
Takes his pistol out and just starts blasting away. It's like, good.
Yeah, that's what you should do in this situation.
Good man.
But it looks up at him and starts talking and says the thing.
What does it say? The thing?
The thing that you said, the walker thing.
The walker thing. Did I say a walker thing?
Yeah, before you said
meaty doty walker. Or meat-tied doty walker.
Yeah, something like that. And at this point, Ramon knows what... Ramon knows what this is, and he's like, it's a campfire story. This one's for me.
Yeah, sure, man.
Yeah, there's only 2 of you left, so it's for one of you. If it's not something she knows.
I guess Final Destination, we should know, but who's in the order, right, of who needs to die. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, he starts freaking out. He's like, it's for me. So they start freaking out, telling the cop, hey, let us out. And
it's like, nah.
The rest of the body parts come out of the chimney and start reassembling themselves and snapping the joints in place and contorting back to a 9-foot tall figure.
I'll say this, that always freaks me out when I see it in like the Exorcist type movies, is when people start doing weird shit with their bodies. Yeah.
Contortionists
did not freak me out at all.
Yeah, I don't know what. Like, you brought up how you're arachnophobe.
I don't like spiders at all.
Does not like spiders, but the spider scene didn't freak you out.
Nope.
And I brought up in the car that it seems like they toned down some of the usual stuff that they would play up to freak people out. Like the spiders, they weren't very played up. You got to see one spider pretty clearly, and the rest of them were just shadows.
Yeah, it's just jump scares in this movie. That's all it was.
And I feel like it's either because they didn't want to go for the cheap shots, but then they do a bunch of jump scares, so it kind of makes me think against that. And then I realize, this movie's for kids.
So
that's probably what it is. But we get to see this thing fucking snap the dude's neck in one hand, just one hand on the shoulder, one hand on the face, snap.
He didn't even fight back, he just stood there.
Well, okay, you see a man reassemble himself in front of you, what are you doing? You're probably freaked the fuck out.
I'm shitting myself and then I'm running out the door, yeah. I'm not standing around.
He had to take time to shit himself. Not something one can easily do while running. He was wearing his brown pants,
again, challenge accepted.
But snaps his neck, then throws him into the bars of the...
yeah, because they have to be...
They have to be able to
get
the keys.
The keys. Of course.
So they start... And I can hear Justin Slave going, get the keys!
Yeah, like, they're like, oh my god! They're hiding behind the bars, like, just go get the keys!
But immediately Stella's like, getting the keys!
Yeah, she jumps on it because she is a good, smart young woman.
This is actually
capable, strong female woman character.
Yeah, I mean, and of course, again, she has the excuse of she's read a lot of horror. She knows the tropes. She knows the tropes. So she unlocks her door, and then as it's about to get halfway through the bars...
this jangly man can push himself through the bars.
Jangly man can do whatever the fuck he wants.
I didn't know that.
He's a strong, independent, jangly man. He'll do whatever the fuck he wants.
Alright.
So he squeezes himself through, and then she unlocks Ramon's cell door and lets Ramon out, and they run for
He's halfway through, he gets stuck.
And he's like, fuck. It's like, you sons of bitches. I was trying so hard, so he has to squeeze himself back out.
Oh, jeez.
They steal the cop's keys for his car, take the cop car. She goes to get in, and he goes, no, run to the house. Figure out what's wrong. You know the story.
Go to the Cerebello's house. And then he's like, I'm gonna drive the cop car away to some...
I'm gonna buy you time.
And so he just, like, drove around town.
Yeah, because it was just going for him, so he was gonna buy her time.
But then he ends up back at the house eventually, too.
Yeah, because he crashes the car, and he's like, fuck, I need to get somewhere, so he starts running back to the house.
Right.
He wants to meet up with her again.
Not a good driver. there.
Well, no, he did it because he wanted to kill the thing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah, because it climbs onto it.
It's on the front, and then he runs.
So
into
he
the
runs.
back.
He puts on his seatbelt one-handed and runs it straight into the face of a semi.
Yeah, I think it was a fire truck.
It was like it was a parked big truck.
And Jangly Man don't care.
Yeah, Jangly Man sits there struggling for a few minutes and goes, "Oh, wait a minute, I can disassemble myself," and just falls to pieces.
I have superpowers. So
what the fuck am I doing standing here?
Yeah.
Falls to pieces and then runs straight to the house. Ramon gets there.
Ramon is track and field or something, because he hightails it all the way back to the house, and when he gets there,
got a
not
dodge
even
draft
out of
somehow.
breath. Oh.
Sorry.
Oh,
okay.
That was well played.
But he runs there. Stella's already there trying to get the stuff figured out.
But Stella gets transported.
She gets time warped
into that was weird. And
she has to relive.
Oh,
she relives something through Sarah's eyes.
She turns into Sarah Bellows and then relives getting thrown into the downstairs.
Yeah, she gets chased and thrown into the downstairs.
Lulu as a child when Lulu helped Sarah hide for a minute.
And then Sarah gets caught anyways, gets dragged into the basement, thrown in there. Meanwhile, in real time, Ramon's running from the Jangling Man still.
And they can kind of talk to one another there in the house.
They're having glimpses where they're able to barely see each other and then barely hear each other. And
and because he picks up her glasses,
he picks up her glasses,
time, and he can talk to her glasses, and then she understands it.
Well, no, because the glasses fell off under the table.
Yeah,
and he's sitting next to the table, and he hears her as she gets picked up and taken away.
Yeah, and then
so it's apparently a spatial thing, but it's dumb. She gets thrown down into the cellar.
Time travel is confirmed in Scary Stories.
Dumb. This also is not in the original book. She gets thrown into the basement and encounters Sarah.
Yeah.
By the way, she's blind without her glasses. Let's point that out.
So are most people that wear glasses.
Yeah, but she still is able to see enough.
You can see things without glasses.
Yes, but it's also dark as shit. They turned off all the lights.
There's that.
So it should be pitch black in that fucking room.
She doesn't get night vision. That's true.
She doesn't have her glasses, and yet she can still make up enough detail to know exactly where the ghost is. Without her glasses. In the dark.
The contrast would probably make it very difficult to see.
Now look who's making excuses.
No, as a glasses-wearing individual, someone who needs corrective eyesight.
You don't need those glasses. Take them off, you can be fine. Drive me home without them on.
That is dangerous, my friend.
Drive home without your glasses challenge.
You're safer driving.
But, so she has her encounter with Sarah and then explains that, Ramon gets one final word into her. Tell her story. Tell her story.
Tell the truth, Sarah. Or tell Sarah the truth.
Yeah, so she goes, we know you didn't do it. We know this wasn't your fault. You're the victim. But now you're being the monster.
Yeah.
All of that pent-up rage. Now you're hurting my friends. You're killing them.
It's like ghost shaming.
You're ghost shaming a fucking ghost. And then Sarah kind of sits back and goes, shit, you right.
She's like, you killed all my friends and now you're trying to kill me and I didn't do anything to you. I'll tell you your story and all this shit.
And Sarah's like, shit, you right.
Yeah. And
she gives Stella her pen and says you have to do it in your blood. So Stella starts writing in her own blood. She pricks her finger, starts writing her own blood, writing the story out.
Like, I'm really not cool with needles. Can we do this some other way?
Can I do it without looking?
Blood. Really?
I
don't think I could do this.
She's a horror fan. She has to do it. But
she'd probably cut her whole fucking finger off.
Yeah, right with the nub. But she
metal.
She writes the story. She writes out the first half of the story and says, "I will tell your story." And Sarah goes, "All right." And all the monsters go away, and she fades away, and then Ramon runs into the basement and finds her. There's a big reuniting scene. Whoop-de-doo.
And then they make out, and
they don't. They don't make out, and I actually really like the fact they don't kiss.
They just friendly hug.
They hug. It's cathartic. It's, oh shit, we survived. Hug.
It's like, friend zoned Ramon.
No, because the next scene when he's getting on the bus to go get shipped out to Nam, she has a letter in there for it that says, "Love, Stella, I'll see you when you come back." Ooh. But while he's off in Nam fighting for his fucking life,
fighting for freedom.
Freedom from the damn commies, as they say.
Fighting to keep Vietnam free for the American way, or something.
Yeah,
shit. I don't know.
While he's off in Nam, Stella, her dad, and Ruth are apparently going to search for the answers in the book to bring her friends back.
Yep.
And that's the end of the movie, thank Christ. There's no end credit scene, there's no nothing else, that's it.
Yeah.
So, Justin, what did you think about it?
I'm really looking forward to the sequel.
I'm not.
Where Ramon comes back from Vietnam.
Missing a leg.
Missing a leg, but he's got a rifle and a flamethrower, and he just starts going to town on all the evilness.
I hadn't thought about that, but I do like the smell of napalm in the morning, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and it's going to be directed by Richard Rodriguez, whatever his name is. And it's going to be...
Richard Ramirez?
No.
I don't actually know his name.
The other guy that does zombie movies with Tarantino. He was in the Grindhouse.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about. I don't remember his name, though.
And that guy, it's Rodriguez something.
But yeah, he goes nuts.
Yeah. And
so what did you feel?
Ramon's my hero. Real American hero. Fighting Vietnam. I thought it was okay. I mean, I wasn't all that impressed with it. I don't have any nostalgia from the story, from the books. So I just kind of went in blind to all this. I thought the visuals were good. The story was weak. The characters were stupid cutouts. I thought it was just, it's okay. I could see how a lot of people that have, like the kid that was sitting next to me with his dad, they were freaking out. Like, the kid's like, "Oh my god!" Every time he knows what's happening, and so like
this feels like a parent bring your kid to see this movie from something from your childhood type of movie.
Maybe dad read the story.
Yeah, that's what this feels like. This feels like there was another movie that came out recently that was the same thing. Where it was a nostalgia bringing movie that you basically just took your kid to because I watched the original one. Oh, Lion King. Oh well, yeah. You only go see the new Lion King movie for nostalgia. It's not good. You just go see it for nostalgia. Yeah, and you want your kid to see the new version or whatever. That said, this movie wasn't really targeted for.
They should have had some racist crows in this instead. For Dumbo, because they took out the racist crows in Dumbo.
God.
Lion King.
I should have seen that coming. Oh, well, it was just about as racist as that was, too.
Yeah, the racist crows, and so they took it out in the Dumbo movies. So that was like that's like the one thing
they had to.
Yeah, if you're gonna redo those movies, I haven't seen any of those movies, but I know that they took out that one. And besides, I wouldn't see the new Aladdin. I wouldn't see the new Lion King.
I haven't seen any of them because I have taste.
Yeah, same here. But it's just like, why would you? Why? And so, let's go back to it.
So, what would you rate this movie?
It's a solid 5. It's not bad. It is a brisk hour and 41 minutes. And so that was really nice. If they drew it out any longer, I'd be upset.
I'm actually a little upset that it was still an hour and 40 minutes. This could have been like an hour and 20. Easy.
It probably.
Actually, the actual runtime was probably an hour and 20 because they have to tack on the extra for the credits.
Yeah, but you don't want to go much less than 1:30. Just, an extra 10 minutes. You could do a lot with 10 minutes, man.
Yeah, they did fucking nothing with like 30 minutes of this movie.
I don't know. It seemed like it went from thing.
It was very concise. It was very concise. It's just there were parts of it that was like, we don't need to see this.
Yeah. I forgot. They brought food into the library, and that's where he spilled the frickin'...
This was the late fries. 60s. That's allowed.
No, it's probably not, because librarians were pissed off back then.
Small town.
Yeah. They're like, no, you cannot bring in your food into the library, because this is a repository of knowledge. And like,
I've never heard it put that way, but yeah, it's a good way to put it.
Yes.
So 5.
It's a solid 5. Yeah, it's nothing special. And I also dropped down. What was it? Hobbs and Shaw. Hobbs and Shaw's a 5.
Hobbs and Shaw's a 5.
Yeah. So I got a whole bunch of just like mediocre, average movies.
You seem like the type of person who would like a bunch of mediocre and average movies. Like
No,
not like that. You like that seems like how a lot of these movies are going to wind up being. It's just kind of mediocre and average.
Yeah, it's when I like a movie, I really like it. And or like a TV show, and
The Boys.
The Boys, fantastic TV show. Yeah, I completely recommend The Boys.
I know you won't
Amazon.
shut up about it.
Also, and I won't shut up about this. Go watch The Lobster. It's on Netflix. It's a dark comedy. It's hilarious.
I might actually watch that when I go home.
If you have a girlfriend, boyfriend, spouse,
watch it with a significant other.
Watch it with a significant other. Also, if you had to be turned into an animal, what animal would you be turned into? It comes up in The Lobster. It's kind of the point of the name Lobster. So yeah, tell me tell us down below. Tell us down below, and then go watch it with your significant other, because it's funny. It's dark comedy. It's really funny. Colin Farrell, Rachel Weisz, John C. Reilly's in it as well. It's on your Netflix streaming. Go see it. But yeah, this movie, Scary Stories, 5.
5? All right.
5. What you get?
For me, I enjoyed the visuals. It hits nostalgia really hard. The story that they had to force onto it was pretty weak, but I want to give the writers credit here because they at least tried making a concise story and keep it concise throughout the entire thing. Mm-hmm. There's never a point where there's confusion between characters. You know who these characters are. You know why they're doing what they're doing. You understand where they're going. The motivations aren't skewed. They're fucking kids. And they didn't try to overcomplicate it, basically. It was cut, dry, to the point. Fine. I just want to see the scary parts of this movie. Didn't care about anything else.
It's a straight cut, no bleed over.
Yeah, everything is its own thing. You have the douchebag stereotype. You have the nerdy kid stereotype. It works. I'd still only give it a 6. And I liked this movie. I actually really liked this movie. But it's still only a 6 because overall it wasn't a very good movie. I enjoyed watching it, but was not a very good movie objectively, unless you have a connection with the books, or you remember like your parents reading you the books when you were younger, or you reading the books on the covers when you were younger. You're not really going to enjoy it, because it's a pretty bad, scary movie. But, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think solid 6, just because I like Guillermo del Toro.
I don't know. I can't say it was bad. Like,
it was mediocre. It was average. It was strictly average.
It was fine.
I like the visuals, and I can applaud them enough on the visual design for these creatures because they looked like they should. Yeah. Everything was pretty. Like, even the scene with the red spot where she's in the mirror, that's actually part of the book. You see her squeezing it in the mirror. So it's like they tried shot for shotting what they could on the illustration from the book. So credit where credit's due. They tried.
Got a giant butt pimple on your face.
That pimple was the size of a small child's ass cheek. You are correct.
Yeah.
So that's it for this movie review. What are we seeing next?
What are we seeing next?
Because we do have. I think we have a list.
Next week, Good Boys is in the theaters. It's the only thing in the theaters. Or if you get your act together, we could do a. We could watch The Boys.
That's true.
I'll watch it again.
Yeah.
Well, and then the week after that, the Has Fallen cinematic universe
gets its conclusion. We hope.
We hope. God, it should have concluded after the first movie. Angel Has Fallen, or Ready or Not.
Pretty sure we're gonna do Ready or Not. Personally.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that looks good. I think it looks really good.
I think it looks fun. Yeah,
I think it's gonna be fun to watch. It's a dark comedy. I think it's right up our alley.
It looked like dark comedy. I mean, I've heard it's sort of like horror thriller, but it's not really. It looks funny.
Yeah, it looks way. It also just could be our skewed sense of humor, where it just looks way funnier than it actually is.
That's true.
Like again, when he's like, "The book reads you," and you burst out laughing in the middle of a theater of silent people. I mean,
such a terrible line.
It was horrible.
Well, this podcast listens to you.
you don't listen to the podcast. The podcast listens to you. So give us feedback down below and on Facebook, Twitter, and
all the places.
YouTube. Yeah, come on, guys.
At GreyVillain GreyVillain Podcast on Facebook, GreyVillain on YouTube. Yeah, where we're at right now, probably. We need to get more places. We're going to get more places.
Yeah, I'm
soon.
going to hopefully get some time to work on that soon, or I can start sending you resources to look at it.
Yeah, well, we'll get it. We'll
hopefully be up on some new places soon, so keep an eye out.
We will spread like a plague.
No, like a red dot on some girl's face.
Like a red spot. Okay. So comment, share, subscribe. Anything else that we wanted to say?
No, I guess just keep
Anything
interacting.
You want to recommend? Anything? Nothing?
Nothing.
No?
I mean I did most of my recommendations last time. I haven't watched any new stuff recently. I've been kind of gridlocked on a lot of my stuff.
All right.
But yeah, keep interacting with the Facebook posts and whatever we post on Twitter and stuff on Facebook and stuff on YouTube. I mean,
yeah.
Keep the hype going so we can get more views, get seen more.
Help us out.
Yeah.
All right. Stay cool.